Hey, welcome to a new video. This circular spot called the Devil's Tramping Ground has been the subject of countless legends and stories for years. Some even claim it's the place where the devil himself comes to walk. This spot is a mysterious and frightening location in the woods of Bear Creek in North Carolina. The origin of the Devil's Tramping Ground is unclear, but one theory suggests that it may have been created by Native Americans as a gathering place for the tribes. Others believed it was formed by a meteorite impact or some other geological event. Despite its intriguing history, the area remains shrouded in mystery and uncertainty, with many visitors reporting unexplainable events. Some claim to have heard eerie voices or seen ghostly apparitions. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, there's no denying that this spot has a haunting beauty and presence. This mysterious location is sure to leave you with more questions than answers. Would you ever dare to go there? Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. No, this isn't a scene from the Jurassic Park movies. This is considered the best preserved dinosaur skeleton ever discovered. Believed to be an Appalachiosaurus, it was accidentally found by surveyors in the Upper Wilson Creek area of the Pixar National Forest. Although the fossil is estimated to be over 77 million years old, you wouldn't think so by looking at its remarkably well-preserved state. The North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences in Raleigh calls the specimen a dinosaur mummy, rather than a fossil. Even a mummy is often less well-preserved than the specimen. Upon examination, this theropod was found to have fully intact skin, teeth, and internal organs. One researcher remarked that when seen in person, the skeleton almost appears to be sleeping. This raises the question, how did it survive so long? Some speculate that it might have been swept away by a flooding river and then deposited into an ancient sea. It may have sunk to the sea floor, which is now exposed, ultimately leading to its discovery. Imagine walking through the forest and deciding to place a camera to see something eerie later. As we can see in the video, a head emerges from behind the tree on the right side. Videos like this show that forests can be very scary, especially if you don't know the history of the place. People in the comments advise the uploader to be careful in the forest, as who knows who or what was watching him. In 2018, a photographer named Patty Marr was driving her car towards Orangeville in the area in Ontario, Canada, when she came across something strange. The area led her towards a forest where a large amount of shoes were tied to trees. And not just a few shoes, but hundreds of shoes. Some were hanging from the branches, while others were suspended from the top of the trees. You would think that this is a strange kind of memorial, or perhaps was done by an artist, but to this day, there's no explanation for the shoes. According to the police in the area, reports of the shoes date back to 1972. Could it possibly have a more sinister-like meaning? What do you think? The jaguar is a predator belonging to the feline family and is the third largest in the world next to the tiger and lion. The jaguar is found in Central America and much of South America, including the Amazon region. Jaguars usually hunt at dusk and dawn. They're carnivores and feed on almost any animal found in their habitat, including deer, wild pigs, monkeys, birds, snakes, and fish. They have the most powerful bite of all cats, and their sharp teeth can easily pierce the flesh of animals. They also bite through bones and skulls without a problem. A jaguar can grow to between 4 and 6 foot 7 inches, or 1.2 and 2 meters long, weighing up to 75 pounds or 125 kilograms. In the past, they also sometimes attack humans, but nowadays this is quite rare, and they would only do this when they're really hungry. If there's one place on Earth where dinosaurs could still be living, it's probably Papua New Guinea. Witnesses report seeing dinosaurs, and we're not usually just talking about the fossils that have been found. Researchers claim to have spotted a dinosaur-like creature several times as it roamed in the rainforest. The name of this dinosaur is the Papuan iguanodon. It is described as 10 feet or 3 meters in length, gray-colored with the head of a dog and the tail of a crocodile. According to some reports, it had legs as thick as trunks of coconut palms. The most recent sighting occurred in the rainforest near the village of Tinganavadu. Other sightings occurred in December 1999 and in March 2004, and in other areas including Lake Murray and Western Province. Could this really be a dinosaur species that miraculously survived the mass extinction? What do you think? In a fascinating experiment, a photographer set up a mirror in the Amazon rainforest and captured the startled reactions of a jaguar and a puma. These remarkable videos show how these animals encountered the mirror and often mistook their own reflection for a rival. The study, known as the Mirror Image Stimulation Study, focused specifically on big cats in the lowlands of the Peruvian Amazon. The video shows a puma reacting defensively to its own reflection, believing it to be another puma. According to photographer Mark Fernley, the animals exhibit recognition behaviors when they first see their reflection, indicating a certain level of awareness of their surroundings. The study was not only limited to big cats, and many other species also encountered the mirrors placed in some of the most remote areas of the rainforest. By capturing these behaviors, the research aims to enhance our understanding of the intelligence and social interactions of these diverse Amazonian species.
Bears are one of the strongest animals on Earth, and when you see two of them fighting, you know exactly why they're so strong. This man had put his camera in the right place in the forest. In fact, he caught two bears on camera fighting over their territory. Bears often use aggressive communication through body posture and the angry noises they make. The bear's strength and growling also echoes throughout the forest.
One day, a 64-year-old woman was taking a walk through the woods of Cannock Chase in Hednesford, England. As she went deeper into the woods, she came across a creepy place where several baby dolls had been nailed to trees. It gave her the creeps, especially when she discovered that an operating room of an old hospital once stood there. The hospital served as a military hospital during World War II, until it ceased to exist in 1924. The dolls looked shabby, as if they'd been there for years. The woman had the dolls examined by a spiritual medium. The medium told her that the dolls had no evil intentions, they just looked scary. How big can crocodiles actually get? If you've never seen one in real life, it's hard to tell. But in the waters of Seminole Town, a municipality in the Philippines, a giant crocodile was found that was said to be bigger than a car. It's hard to believe, but this huge monster was an incredible 5.4 meters long. The crocodile was named David because it was the name of the man who had found it in the swamps. However, this was not the first crocodile to appear in the Tawi-Tawi area. The reason why crocodiles would end up in this place is because there's a very small area of mangroves that they love. Fortunately, David the crocodile did not attack anyone and was immediately sent to the animal shelter. They eventually placed the crocodile in a special seawater pond that is very close to their natural habitat. CWD, better known as zombie deer disease, is a disturbing condition affecting deer populations in the Midwest of the United States. First discovered in Colorado in 1967, the disease has rapidly spread to 23 other states. But recently, it's also been observed in the Canadian provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and even in Norway, Finland, and South Korea. The disease is caused by an abnormal protein called a prion that attacks the brains and nervous systems of the deer, leading to, among other things, lack of coordination. One of the most notable features is how it affects behavior of the deer, causing them to behave in a way that can be described as zombie-like. Infected deer also exhibit symptoms such as lack of fear of humans or predators, and a repetitive pattern of walking in circles. The disease is fatal, with no known cure or preventative measures currently available. Its spread is therefore concerning, as deer are a crucial part of the food chain and play an important role in the health of the forest. Moreover, it would be quite creepy if you encounter a zombie deer in the woods, don't you think? In July 2024, the Mashco Pyro tribe, one of the most isolated indigenous groups in the world, was seen leaving the Peruvian Amazon rainforest. This unusual behavior has raised concerns among local activists and anthropologists, as it seems to be linked to the increasing logging activities in the area. The Mashco Pyro, also known as the Namol, are an indigenous tribe living in the remote regions of the southeastern Peruvian Amazon. They're considered one of the largest uncontacted tribes in the world, with an estimated population of over 750 individuals. Historically, the tribe has avoided contact with outsiders, but recent reports indicate that they've been seen more frequently near the Las Piedras River, especially close to a village inhabited by the Yan people. Over 50 tribe members have been spotted, reportedly searching for food, and possibly fleeing the growing presence of logging companies in their habitat. These companies extract valuable timber, such as cedar and mahogany, posing a significant threat to their traditional way of life.
The following video footage was taken in August 2010 near a house in the forest. The homeowner was called to investigate the strange light. It's creepy to think about what the source could be behind the lights. Some think it was a burglar with a flashlight, while others say it might be a ghost. What do you think?
Some forests can be very creepy, but have you ever heard of the Hohe Forest? The Hohe Forest is located just outside Cluj-Napoca in Transylvania, Romania, and is known as the creepiest forest in the world because nothing grows there, at all. There's many dark stories circulating, including one of a shepherd who went missing here, along with his 200 sheep. but he's just one of the thousands of people who have mysteriously gone missing in the forest. It's also thought that aliens have been here. This is because pictures were taken by Emil Barnea of a UFO in 1968. Anyone who was fascinated by the forest and decided to visit it later regretted it. Visitors reported nausea, fear, hearing strange voices and giggling, and also feeling as if they were being watched. The bullet ant is said to be one of the most dangerous animals in the Amazon rainforest. This insect is between 0.7 and 1.2 inches, or 1.8 and 3 centimeters in size. So it may be small, but it's widely known that the animal has the worst sting of all insects. It's also compared by people to a bullet, hence the name bullet ant. In addition, its sting contains venom with a neurotoxin that can last for up to 24 hours. This could cause temporary paralysis, but it would not be fatal, provided you're not allergic to it. It's also definitely an aggressive animal, so be careful where you put your feet when walking through the tropical forest areas. This is because they're not afraid to defend themselves when they feel threatened. For some tribes in the Amazon, bullet ants are part of a ritual. In fact, they put on a glove full of bullet ants in order to overcome their pain and become a real man.
One of the most reliable and infamous UFO sightings apparently took place not at the town of Roswell in New Mexico, but in Papua New Guinea more than 50 years ago. The account of the incident is by an Australian missionary, and a total of 37 associates are said to have said the same thing. Prior to the famous incident, Bowenai locals had experienced several reports of strange occurrences, all claiming to have spotted a UFO. On the day of the incident, there was a great deal of continuous UFO activity. Although the spaceship in question was described as alien and disc-shaped, the beings on board were said to look more like humans than anything else. At one point, Willie and Gil, the missionary, waved at them, and they waved back. Finally, William went back inside when it looked like the UFO wasn't going anywhere. And then there was an explosion, if William's detailed story is to be believed, and then the spaceship disappeared again.
In May 2023, a tragic plane crash occurred in the Amazon jungle of Colombia, involving a Cessna 206 aircraft. On board were 4 indigenous children and 3 adults, including their mother. The crash was caused by engine failure, and the adults on board did not survive, leaving the children alone in the dense jungle. Leslie, 13, Soleni, 9, Tien, 4, and baby Kristen was 1 year old. They all managed to survive for 40 days in the wilderness. They found food, mainly fruit, as the jungle was in harvest season at the time. During the search, the Colombian Army and indigenous trackers were able to locate the children. Helicopters dropped food packages and broadcasted messages from their grandmother, urging them to stay in one place. The search effort was intense, with over 200 soldiers and countless volunteers involved. Ultimately, the children were found alive on June 9, 2023, and although they had endured hardships, they were in good health.
According to many people, this photo taken from a trail camera is one of the clearest pictures of a Bigfoot. This creature is said to roam the forests of North America. He's also known as a Sasquatch and is described as an ape-like creature. This other photo was taken at night, but shows the same creature. Could the myth about Bigfoot really be true after all?
In western Switzerland, in the forest of Mals, there's said to be a mysterious man haunting the forest, wearing a cloak and a gas mask named Le Lion. He was reportedly first spotted in 2003 and has been roaming the woods for over a decade. He's said to be about 6.5 feet or 2 meters tall and would often scare small children who were playing in the woods. Although he was not aggressive towards people, the local police still hope that they can catch him. They've also tried to chase and search for him a few times, but unfortunately, they failed each time. There's many mysteries surrounding this man, which is why he's also become known as the Ghost of Walls. Did you know that there are legends and myths from Slavic and American cultures that talk about creepy swamps? According to legends, different creatures were said to live there, from evil witches to swamp monsters. What they had also found were mysterious ghost lights called the will-o'-wisps, or ignis fatuus, which means foolish fire in Latin. They're ghost lights that appear in swamps at night and look like flickering lanterns. Usually they're blue or white in color, and there are a few explanations for this phenomenon. But the most likely is that it is caused by burning gases. These gases are called swamp gases, and they are created during the decomposition of organic material. However, there are also those who believe that the lights are wandering souls who want to lure people into the swamp. Forests have always been places of mysterious and eerie sensations. With their vast expanse and dense vegetation, forests are perfect habitats for various animals, including wolves and bears. Occasionally, you may come across a sign in the woods warning you that dangerous animals are roaming around and that you should be careful. But the next sign found in a forest gives a very strange warning. We see a man jumping over hands, almost as if he's escaping from zombie hands. It's unclear where exactly this sign was found, but what could this creepy sign possibly mean? One thing's for sure, after seeing that warning sign, I definitely wouldn't be walking in that forest anymore. Many people love hiking in the woods, but some say they now think twice before entering a secluded forest. What do you think this sign means? Let me know in the comments. In 2020, archaeologists discovered an extensive network of ancient villages in the Amazon, specifically in the southern part of the Brazilian state of Acre. This discovery was made possible using the LIDAR technology, which allowed researchers to see through the dense canopy of the rainforest and reveal structures that have been hidden for centuries. The study identified over 35 villages dating from between 1300 and 1700 AD, with roads radiating out from a central plaza. The pattern led researchers to believe that the layout may have been influenced by cosmological models, suggesting that the ancient inhabitants of the Amazon looked to the stars and their significance for their culture. The circular villages were typically about 282 feet, or 86 meters in diameter, while the rectangular sites averaged around 147 feet, or 45 meters in size. Researchers suggest that the organization of these villages indicates a sophisticated social structure among the indigenous peoples of the region. The consistent layout across different villages suggests that they adhere to specific social models, possibly based on the cosmos.
The next time you hear a sound from the forest behind your house, it might be best not to go outside. In the video, we see a slow, zombie-like monster moving through the forest captured on camera. The nature or type of it, however, is unknown. The creature is compared by many people to the character of Remus Lupin and his werewolf form from the Harry Potter series.
In the small village of Bishopville in South Carolina, USA, there's a story circulating about a reptilian-like monster called the Lizard Man. The first recorded sighting was on June 29, 1988, when a teenager driving home stopped by a road to fix his tire. Suddenly, in the dark, red eyes were staring at him, with claws and green scaly skin. The Lizard Man was over 2 meters tall, and allegedly ripped off the car mirror and then scratched the roof of the car. Over the following months, more attacks would have taken place on other cars. Not only were these destroyed, but muddy footprints with 3 toes were left behind. But it wasn't just a story, because someone managed to capture him on camera as well. In the video, a group of friends were fishing when they came across a creepy creature. Do you believe this is the infamous Lizard Man? The Brazilian wandering spider is a highly venomous spider that was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records in 2010 as the most dangerous spider in the world. This spider is between 0.5 and 2 inches, or 1 and 5 centimeters in size, and belongs to the 7 other species called the comb spiders. They live mainly in South America in the Amazon rainforest. You usually won't find them in Europe, but rumor has it that they sometimes accidentally get shipped in bananas because they live in the trees. The Brazilian wandering spider is a nocturnal animal that searches for food at night, including crickets, small lizards, mice, and other insects. What makes this spider so dangerous is that it's extremely fast, aggressive, it can jump, and it has a very poisonous bite that can cause severe pain and breathing problems. If you don't have an antidote in the first 6 hours after the bite, it can be fatal.
If you're wary of crawling critters, you better reconsider hiking through the forest of Papua New Guinea. It's said to be home to a Congolese giant spider that has a wingspan of 5 to 6 feet, or 1.5 to 1.8 meters long. In other words, it's as big as a person. Sightings of this giant spider, also called the Jaba Fofi, date back to the year 1938. In that year, a group of people claimed to have seen a giant spider crawling across the road. Since then, there have been other encounters, including one where someone claimed the spider had bitten them. However, these daily activities of the giant spiders are still a mystery, but it's suspected that it lives in the shallow tunnels camouflaged by leaves. Their home base is a large dense tree where it creates a giant web, in which it catches their victims.
In 2020, an impressive archaeological discovery was made: tens of thousands of cave paintings. These were found in Serrania La Lindiso, a remote area of the Amazon rainforest in Colombia. The paintings are estimated to be between 12,500 and 11,800 years old and date back to the last ice age. The art stretches over nearly 8 miles, or 12.8 kilometers, of cliffs, and represent a massive cultural heritage of ancient indigenous populations in the region. These paintings were created during a period when humanity was transitioning from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to a more settled, agrarian way of life. The paintings provide insights into the lives of early humans in the Amazon basin, particularly in the context of their environment and spiritual beliefs. They depict various animals, including now extinct species, such as mastodons, giant sloths, and other megafauna that inhabited the area during the Pleistocene. In addition to animals, there are depictions of human figures, geometric shapes, and handprints. The remote location has helped to protect the paintings over the millennia. Despite some damage from natural erosion and human activity, many of them are still clearly visible. These paintings are considered the Sistine Chapel of ancient art, and offer one of the most detailed depictions of early human life in South America.
If you thought the fight between bears was intense already, then here we have a fight between two deer that doesn't seem to end. Park rangers had shared the video on the internet. It shows the deer standing alone on their hind legs while striking with both their front legs. You'd better be careful when these animals behave like this, because a deer's hooves can be very sharp. In the US state of Massachusetts, along the old Sodbury Road in the town of Lincoln, you'll find a group of abandoned rocking horses. Because they're placed in a circle, people compared it to the Stonehenge Circle. As such, this landmark became known as Ponyhenge. There's said to be more than 30 ponies, all of different designs and types. According to the stories, the very first pony arrived in 2010. The land it sits on belongs to James Pingian and his wife, Elizabeth Graver. According to them, the first pony is said to have been left on the field after a Halloween party. Since then, the number of rocking horses mysteriously grew. Although this place is quite creepy, local people decided to decorate the rocking horses with lights at Christmas. Are you someone who believes in witches and curses? Normally, people don't take it seriously. The residents of the small town of Fernier paid with their lives for disrespecting a bizarre woman named Julia. The woman was a hoodoo priestess, and people knew she was strange, but they didn't expect her to be dangerous as well. She lived in a small house surrounded by a swamp, and often sang creepy songs to scare the other residents. She even said once that she would die soon, and that she would take all the inhabitants of the town with her. No one took her seriously. However, until something very sad happened. At her funeral, people from all over the town gathered to say goodbye to Julia, and as soon as they put her in the coffin in the ground, heavy hurricane rains began to wipe out the whole town. So Julia was right when she said she would take all the residents with her, because, after all, no one had survived. Do you think this was a coincidence, or had it really been a curse? The Mapinguari is a legendary creature from the folklore of the Amazon rainforest, especially among the indigenous people of Brazil. Depictions of this creature vary, but it's often depicted as a large, sloth-like creature covered in hair, with one eye and a mouth on its stomach. This creature is said to inhabit the dense forests of the Amazon, where it's both feared and revered. The stories of the Mapinguari are deeply rooted in the traditions of various indigenous groups in the Amazon basin. They often serve as a warning against the exploitation of the forest and emphasize the importance of respecting nature. There's also numerous eyewitness accounts of the Mapinguari, contributing to its legendary status. Glenn Shepard Jr., an ethnobiologist, recounted how members of a tribe in Peru described a terrifying creature resembling a sloth. Furthermore, a Brazilian man claimed to have seen a Mapinguari after a long canoe trip, describing it as a man-like figure covered in hair. A deer captured on camera in the dark is frightening enough, but when we see a pair of eyes floating above it, it becomes alarming. To this day, it's still unclear whose eyes they are. Some people say it has to do with UFOs and aliens. Others said it's the deer's eyes being reflected in the infrared camera.
When you cut down a tree, the last thing you expect to find is a mummified dog stuck in the middle of the tree. The dog that has sharp teeth has been perfectly preserved over the years. In the 1980s, a group of loggers were cutting down a tree in Georgia when they discovered the dog. At first, they were shocked, but the mummified dog was eventually named Stucky. When experts examined the tree and the dog, they determined that it was between 50 and 100 years old. They thought it had been a hunting dog chasing a squirrel. Then it would have crawled through a small hole under the tree and then got stuck. Today, the tree with the mummified dog is on display at the Georgia Museum, if you plan to visit. The payara, also known as the saber-toothed tiger fish, is an aggressive predatory fish found mainly in the southern part of the Amazon River. The most striking thing about this fish is the two long fangs that protrude from its lower jaw. In fact, the fangs are so large that they have holes in their upper jaw where the teeth slide in, so they don't pierce their own head. The payara, also called the vampire fish, has an average length of between 12 and 20 inches, or 30 and 50 centimeters. But as you can see in this picture, in rare cases, they can grow even larger. Their diet consists mainly of piranhas and smaller fish, but if they really have to, they sometimes hunt larger fish, because they can pierce the flesh of their prey with their sharp teeth without any problems. The discovery of an ancient dolphin species found in the Amazon region has shed new light on one of the largest dolphins ever. The species lived more than 16 million years ago during the Miocene, a period when the Amazon rainforest was covered by a massive inland sea rather than the dense jungle that we know it as today. Fossil remains suggest that this dolphin was built for fast and efficient movement, likely to hunt in deep waters or large rivers. The dolphin was discovered alongside other fossils of marine fauna, including prehistoric fish and turtles, indicating that this region was once a thriving marine ecosystem. During the Miocene, the Amazon region was part of a larger system of lakes that connected to rivers connected to the sea. During the Miocene, the Amazon region was part of a larger system of lakes and rivers connected to the sea. This fossil discovery provides crucial evidence that large marine mammals, including the enormous dolphin, once swam through the ancient seascape.
Looking at this picture, you'll wonder, who or what on earth is that? According to the source, the photo was supposedly taken somewhere near a remote part of a forest in Finland. A camera recorded a human figure wandering around. According to the source, there was a plane crash nearby, so maybe this is a survivor. The other theory is that this is a creature that we have not previously identified. The battlefield of Gettysburg has played a major role in history. It's the site of one of the greatest battles of the American Civil War in 1863. According to records, about 7,500 soldiers lost their lives in the battle that lasted 3 days. Therefore, Gettysburg is now home to not only historical events, but also to paranormal stories. It also happens to be located in the state of Pennsylvania, a place teeming with supernatural activities and unexplained events. Many tourists interested in both history and mystery find their way to Gettysburg, and some of them report having experienced unexplained experiences. In this video footage, a tourist claims that he had captured the ghost of a soldier on camera. Now, many people are skeptical of the figure in the video, but there's regular reports of ghost appearances that make people think it could be possibly real. The Honey Island swamp is believed to be untouched by humans, and a legend says that a creepy monster lives there. Not many people are said to have seen it, and there's only a few documents that prove that the Honey Island swamp monster does exist. The first record dates back to 1963, when 2 hunters supposed they saw a monster standing on the body of a dead boar. According to the men, the monster had gray long hair. It was over 2 meters in length and had amber-colored eyes. When the men shared their experience with other people, the story about the monster spread like wildfire. What became apparent was that the Native Americans had also seen this swamp monster, which they called Latich in the area. The monster was described by them as a creature that lived in the swamp and ate dead meat. According to old Indian stories, the monster used to be an abandoned child who was raised by alligators and transformed into a kind of werewolf. Amid a group of young people enjoying a campfire deep in the woods, 2 girls were shocked when they saw something moving behind a tree. It took them a while to realize what they were seeing, a small alien creature. As terrifying as it seemed at first, these 2 girls couldn't resist their curiosity and decided to take a closer look at the creature. To their amazement, it seemed just as curious about them as they were about it. But what was this creature doing in the woods? Was it lost or trying to blend in with nature? As they tried to get closer with the light from their flashlights, the creature retreated behind the tree and disappeared. The possibilities of encounters with extraterrestrial beings and UFO sightings has long fascinated people, and this experience has only added fuel to that fire. The woods, with its dark shadows and mysterious sounds, is of course a perfect place for an alien to hide. An American town in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. It doesn't sound logical, but it happened. Fordlandia was an ambitious project initiated by American automobile magnate Henry Ford in the late 1920s. The goal was to establish a rubber plantation in the heart of the Amazon rainforest to secure a reliable source of rubber for the production of car tires. In this way, Ford wanted to reduce dependence on foreign suppliers, especially in Southeast Asia. Fordlandia was founded in 1928 and was intended not only as a rubber plantation, but also as a model American town, complete with amenities such as schools, hospitals, and recreational facilities. Ford aimed to create a self-sufficient community that reflected his ideals of industrial efficiency and social order. He negotiated with Brazilian governments for the rights to approximately 2.5 million hectares of land to cultivate. However, the complex ecosystem of the Amazon proved difficult to manage. Labor was also a major issue. Despite the high wages Ford offered, many workers struggled to adapt to the harsh jungle conditions. By 1934, Fordlandia was abandoned due to its inability to produce rubber effectively. The project was moved to Belterra,
But it also failed, especially with the rise of synthetic rubber in the 1940s, which drastically reduced the demand for natural rubber. Today, Fortlandia is a ghost town, with remnants of a once promising infrastructure overtaken by the jungle.
This camera caught an unidentifiable figure walking by in the forest. When people saw this, they were initially shocked. The figure has glowing eyes, distorted facial features, and has a white cloth around him, making him look very creepy. Do you have any thoughts on what this figure's doing, or what it could be?
Walking around in the woods at night could be pretty terrifying for most people. One day, an anonymous man set up a camera because he was looking for deer. The camera he had put up was activated when there was movement in the area. The next morning, when he looked back at the camera footage, he had captured several deer on camera. But in one of the photos, there were 2 deer present and a young ghostly girl. It's still unknown today who this girl was. Some claim it's a girl who had gone missing years ago, while others said it was a ghost. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The giant otter is an animal you might not have expected on this list. After all, they look pretty cute at first glance, especially the little otters. However, the Amazon is home to the giant otters. They can also be found in the rivers of the Orinoco and the Rio de la Plata in South America, swimming by the means of their powerful tails and long bodies. The giant otter can reach as much as 6 feet or 1.8 meters in length and is unfortunately an endangered species since 2015. Approximately 5,000 giant otters still exist, but their population is decreasing. Although the animal is generally quite calm, they can be aggressive when defending their territory. In the wild, they mainly hunt turtles and fish, but according to reports, they also hunt anacondas, and in groups, they even attack caimans.
This is a famous photograph taken in Papua New Guinea in 1961 of 4 men pushing a giant skull on a cart. Could this be proof of giants once existing? Who knows, but this would not have been the only time a mysterious skull was found. An even older specimen was discovered in 1929. Once thought to be the skull of an extinct human species, turned out to have a darker past. Papua New Guinea turned out to be the home to the world's oldest recorded human tsunami victim. The partial skull was found near the town of Atape. It is Homo sapiens, our species, and not Homo erectus, which went extinct 140,000 years ago. The tsunami that occurred 6,000 years ago seemed to wipe out villages and wipe out everyone in the area. An even more chilling fact is that only the skull was discovered. This is thought to have happened because the bodies were washed into lagoons where crocodiles ate them.
After the death of the last Inca in the late 16th century, Choqquequirau fell into obscurity. In November 2019, however, archaeologists discovered a secret city of the Inca Empire. It was hidden deep in the Amazon jungle and is believed to hold the legendary lost treasure of this pre-Columbian civilization. Accessible only by a 2-day hike, the city serves as one of the last strongholds of resistance and covers more than 7 miles or 18 square kilometers in dense Amazonian foliage. The first Europeans arrived in the mid-19th century, and the city was rediscovered by Hiram Bingham, the same explorer who made Machu Picchu famous.
A clown is pretty scary, but coming across a clown in the woods is even more terrifying. This clown also stares through the lens of the camera. He has a painted face, weird costume, and threatening expression. It looks like the clown is straight out of the horror movie It. Most frightening is that he seems to be fascinated by the camera and approaches it to get a better look. Hopefully, this is just someone playing a prank on another person they know, and not a creepy clown hiding in the woods. In the last few years, pictures were uploaded to the internet of mysterious staircases standing in the middle of forest. Now, you might be wondering if this could be real, and yes, several stairs have been found in different countries. The photos went viral, and it quickly became the talk on Reddit, where some users claimed to have seen the stairs themselves. The mysterious thing about it is that the stairs didn't lead anywhere, leading people to believe that it could possibly be a gateway to another dimension, or maybe even hell. Initially, the staircases were only found in the deep forests of America, sometimes as deep as 37 miles or 60 kilometers into the forest. But soon there were reports of mysterious staircases being found in Germany, Brazil, and the Philippines. According to those who saw the stairs in real life, they felt a kind of presence that they were not welcome, so they didn't dare to climb the stairs. Others believe that the stairs are simply remnants of ancient human settlements. We've already talked about a giant crocodile, but one day people also came across a giant snake in a swamp, which scared the crap out of them. In this video, you see men running away from the water because they had clearly seen something creepy. At first, they didn't know what it was, but when they realized it was a snake, they went after it.
No idea why they did this, as most people would have probably just stayed away from it. Eventually, the three men managed to catch the huge snake. However, it's unclear exactly how big the snake was, but the men decided to move the snake so that at least it could no longer attack anyone. The discovery of megalithic structures in the western Amazon region in 2016 led archaeologists to believe that they have found the Brazilian Stonehenge. The discovery was made through satellite images that showed several groups of megaliths arranged in a circular formation. Researchers who discovered the site decided to call it the Amazon Stonehenge. The discovery of megaliths is significant because many people believe that the Amazon region, despite hosting millions of people, was largely ignored in prehistory. Yet, the discovery suggests that the Amazon region was likely a center of complex societies that could create such massive structures. The megaliths appear to have been made about 2,000 years ago and cover about 1,000 hectares of land, indicating the existence of a large settlement. The site also has geometric designs within the stones that resemble constellations, indicating a possible use for spiritual ceremonies. Have you ever explored a forest and found anything? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.